This is all I ever wanted. I am here for the resurgence of full-length tops. Like, are you actually serious? The old Alphalete can't come to the phone right now. Why? Because she's dead. Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. We are in the midst of a bunch of launches this week. So today we are reviewing the upcoming Alphalete collection. This is launching on Saturday, May 17th. I believe it's 10 a.m. Central Time, but I will put all of the times on the screen here. This is the same day as the Buff Bunny launch. I hate when they do this, but sometimes it happens, so plan accordingly. And as always, you can use my code Kathryn for 10% off your order, and this is the first launch since Alphalete's new little rebrand. If you guys are active on Instagram or checked their website between May 5th and 7th, they shut everything down and they just cleared everything out and got all ready for this rebrand. It's giving the old Alphalete can't come to the phone right now. Why? Because she's dead. You know, side note, when is Reputation Taylor's version coming? So let me quickly go over some of the things that are part of their rebrand. First of all, I just feel like Alphalete kind of went through a lot of changes last year and kind of struggled. They changed a lot with their affiliate program and everything. And I feel like Christian really came back in and said, like, let's get it back together. And I'm seeing a lot of really good things with this rebrand. So I'm excited. It's more than just like a new logo, which like, yes, there's a new logo, but do we really care? No, I care about increased customer service, better quality items, and more transparency, which is what they're bringing. So number one, they're going to be sticking to more core colors instead of launching like two very similar browns like collection after collection. They're going to stick with some core colors so that you can get pieces from different collections and still like wear them with like a bra you got a couple months ago, which I love. Buff Bunny started doing this like a year or two ago, and it's just been really nice to like have some pieces where I'm like, I can get a new bra, but I don't need to get a new pair of leggings because I already have a color to match that. So that's kind of nice. They're also going to be offering more rise options in the future. We don't necessarily see that in this collection, but they're also just communicating this better on the website between like ultra high rise, mid rise, low to mid rise, things like that. Also having different lengths of tops, which we do see in this collection. They're still going to have launches, but they're also going to have restocks. So if something sells out super quickly after a launch, they're going to be restocking those items. So it's not like, okay, we'll never get those again. Like we saw with their push tanks from the birthday sale. The push tanks sold out super quick, so they actually restocked most of the colors like 3 to 4 weeks later, which is a pretty good turnaround time. So I like that too, because that kind of takes away some of like the launch FOMO, like, oh, like I missed this piece, it might be coming back soon. They also created an app, and now they have more of a like tier reward system, something like Buff Bunny and Honor have. So depending on how much money you've spent, you can get like early access to launches and things like that. I'm gonna make sure that they like reserve certain stock for that, because I've shopped some Honor launches where they have sold out of pieces before they even released to the general public. So I'm gonna let them know to not make that mistake, because that's not good. But gold members will get 20 minutes early access to launches, and platinum members will get 30 minutes early access to launches. And if you follow me on Instagram, I often post when they release like an early access code to the launches, just to the general public. Usually that's like 10 to 15 minutes in advance. And you can also start stacking loyalty rewards with athlete codes. So you don't have to use like one or the other. You can use my code and still use your loyalty rewards. And lastly, most importantly, customer service is something they have gotten a lot of flack for in the past, which like rightfully so. And they made this a huge focus, adding a lot of new members to the team and also adding a live chat support, which is so nice. You don't have to like wait several days for an email. So that's everything for the rebrand. If you didn't listen to any of this, TLDR, they made some changes, and I'm excited for what's to come. So without further ado, let's get into this new launch. Not a ton of new pieces in this launch, but they just kind of took like my favorite pieces from the birthday sale and brought them back in fun summery colors, including yellow. I am so here for the resurgence of yellow. I know that the color is like very in right now, but dare I say I was ahead of the times bringing butter yellow into my Buff Bunny collab last year, and now everyone's doing it. All right, let's go through the colors real quick with the color comparisons. First, we have canary yellow. It's not like the lightest of the yellows, but it still is giving pastel with a little more opacity, and we actually have some bottoms in this color. So I'm glad that they were daring enough to do bottoms in yellow, but we'll see if they're squat proof. We have rose, which is this lighter kind of corally pink. Malibu pink, which is this neon. And then bloom, which is a slightly darker hot pink. Blue bonnet, which is this nice kind of purpley blue. I love this shade of blue. I find it so flattering. And lastly, we have Aurora, which is this nice like neon green. Just kidding, that's not last. We also have dark navy, which is this dark grayish, almost teal. Kind of reminds me of Buff Bunny Enchanted Teal. So there are a couple categories in this collection kind of separated by fabric. We have some Tenacity pieces, we have some seamless, some Amplify contour, and then some tops, and then those little running shorts. Let's start out with the Tenacity pieces. Starting out, we have two new bras. The first is the Lina bra. This is definitely going to be a little bit more for my smaller cup sizes. The Tenacity fabric is this double brushed, super soft, kind of velvety smooth material. Here's an up close of that fabric. And Tenacity definitely gets a little bit warm. It kind of reminds me of Buff Bunny Posh Knit. So definitely as we go into summer, I will probably be reaching for Tenacity a little bit less. But if you like a really thick, dense brushed fabric, that's the Tenacity. I do love how it feels. So we have this kind of squared, slightly V neckline, this little dart detail here, and then this kind of inverted V across the bottom. We have tank straps that split into this strappy back, and the kind of main feature of this bra is, first of all, I love how it almost creates like a little bow type detail in the back, but these straps in the back are slidable, so you can kind of slide them out if you just want it to be kind of more of like a straight across back, or how I prefer to wear it is with the straps in the middle, creating that kind of little V back there. And then of course, since Alphalete had their rebrand, we have the new tonal silicone branding with the new Alphalete logo. Here we are with that little A logo right there. Very subtle branding. You guys know I love some subtle silicone branding. And then we have classic removable cuff pads here. There's just a little tiny elastic to kind of keep you secure at the bottom here, but it's definitely a short line bra. So let's try it on. All right, here is the Lina bra. So this is the Tenacity kind of more small bust friendly bra, but I did wear this to solid core this morning, and while I had like a little bit of spillage, I was not like falling out and needing to really tuck myself back in. I will still be wearing this bra. Is it going to be my choice for large cup sizes? No, so just keep in mind it is more of a low to medium coverage, low to medium support, but it's better than the Olivia Sculpt bra for me. So I love that. Kind of that inverted V on the bottom there, that little elastic kind of keeps you secure. There's still a little chance of under boob though, so keep that in mind. I did again work out in this morning. You know, we have a little sweat mark on that, but I was also wearing my self-tan. So little Alphalete logo, super tiny, and honestly kind of hides under the bust so you don't even see it. The yellow is nice and opaque and I do not see the cup pads in it. We have these tank straps, very comfortable, true to size. If you're in between larger busts, probably size up, but otherwise, you know, you can go either way. And then we go around to the back. It has that cute little bow detail where the back band kind of comes up a little bit, but you can also wear the straps kind of out to the side if you want just more of a simple design, but I think it looks cuter with the straps kind of in, and I like how easy it is to just kind of slide them together. This kind of keeps the straps in the front together a little bit more too, so it's just my preferred way of wearing it. So again, not the most BTC friendly option, but I still really like it, so I do recommend this one. Next up, we have our more large cup size friendly bra of the Tenacity fabric. This is the interval bra. They wrote it as like an A to C cup bra, but this one has really great coverage. So this one reminds me a lot of the Buff Bunny curve bra, so we'll compare those in a second. But we have this high neckline with the kind of drawn in neckline here, so you get a lot of shoulder and it kind of comes in around the armpit area. So good coverage, but you definitely get like a little bit of armpit. Does have removable cups, a little bit of dart detail again here, just overall really good coverage. There's a little elastic along the bottom, and again, kind of a slight curve to the bottom. It doesn't have that same like under bust double curve that the Buff Bunny one has, but it has that kind of inverted curve that just really flatters the torso. In the back, we have a racer back, a cutout, and then an elastic with this little band at the bottom. Compared to the Buff Bunny curve bra, we can see we definitely have a lot more coverage out of this one. The Buff Bunny curve bra runs quite small. If anything, the interval bra runs a little bit big. So the main comparisons, very similar neckline and everything. The Buff Bunny curve bra has space for cup pads, but it does not come with cup pads anymore. This has more of that like double curve at the bottom that kind of outlines the bust area. Buff Bunny just has a simple racer back instead of having that cutout detail, and Buff Bunny is also made out of the butter fabric, which is a lot more lightweight, and this is definitely a more dense compressive fabric. So let's try it on. All right, here we have the interval bra. This is my normal size small. We have that kind of inverted V waist. That's a slight difference between the Buff Bunny curve bra. That one is more of like a, you know, actual curved area. This is just kind of more of just an inverted hem. We have that little seam at the bottom. We do have removable cups. They do have seams to make sure they don't go up too high though, which I like. Overall, I would say full coverage, except you do get some little armpit side boob. I did notice this working out that I was just kind of getting a little armpit pinch there. Because of that, I wanted to love this bra, but I'm actually liking the Lina bra a little bit better. I just feel like it's a little bit more flattering. Yes, maybe not quite as secure. And I do get a little more spillage out of it, but I just kind of like that bra. Anyways, we have that kind of tapered neckline up here. Definitely a high neck. A little bit of extra fabric. It's true to size, but if you do have a small bust, you could probably get away with sizing down. And if you're in between, absolutely size down. The support is about a medium to high support. It is pretty good because the Tenacity fabric is so thick and dense. Very smooth along the sides there. And then we have racer back with the elastic band at the bottom. And this is another area where I feel like it could just be taken in a little bit, just a little bit big. So just keep that in mind. I'm happy with my size small here. I think sizing down, it might be a little bit too compressed. It may be a little bit too difficult to get on, but for my smaller cup sizes, definitely consider that. And I do consider this a large bust friendly bra as well. Next, we have the Tenacity wrap shorts. We first saw the Tenacity wrap leggings in the birthday sale collection, and I wasn't quite sure at first because they did have the top band, but these have really grown on me and I'm honestly reaching for them quite a bit. And now we have them in a 5-inch short and in yellow. Guys, a little pair of yellow shorts, this is all I ever wanted. Are they gonna be totally squat proof? Probably not, but the Tenacity fabric is quite thick. So it tends to be more squat proof than seamless, for example. So very similar structure to the Tenacity wrap waist leggings that we'll talk about right after, but these have a slight dipped down waistband and they have a true wrap waist. So the fabric goes over each other here and it does dip down a little bit in the front there, shows a little belly button. These are about a mid to high rise. On the side, they hit the smallest point of my waist. So they're right around that like natural waist, a high rise, but they dip down a little bit in the front. We have that Tenacity fabric. The gusset is extended down the whole inseam. I did actually measure 5.5 inches on the shorts, which for me, that's amazing. I love more of like a 6-inch short, so I was glad to see a little bit more length there. We have that little curved detail along the side of the leg there to just kind of like enhance the glutes a little bit. Slight V back with the waistband, and then these do have a hidden scrunch up the back. So there's an elastic inside this back seam as well as a little bit of scrunching going on there. I got a size medium because the Tenacity bottoms tend to run pretty small. So we'll talk more about sizing with the leggings, but I do recommend sizing up in these. Let's try them on. All right, here are the Tenacity wrap shorts. So excited that they decided to come out with a slightly longer inseam compared to the original Tenacity shorts. The original Tenacity shorts were 4 inches. These are 5. I even measured about a 5.5. So I love the length of these. I could use even an extra inch. I'm more of a 6-inch short girly, but I still can wear 5 inches. So we have that mid to high rise that kind of dips down a little bit in the front here with that crossover waistband, and the top band starts around here and then is all the way in the back. So it's not in the front, it's only in the back. These do run small. I recommend sizing up a full size. I'm wearing a medium here. They fit perfectly. I definitely would not want to size down to my normal small. So even if you're not in between, I would be sizing up. Overall compression, since these are a size up, I would say they're about a light to medium compression. If you were to get your normal size, you'd be pretty compressed, like a medium to high compression. Have that little contoured side seam here that just kind of gives you a little bit of curves. And then in the back, the seams do sit just right above the glutes. You have that little hidden scrunch. You do get a little cellulite coverage in these because the fabric is a little bit thicker, more dense, and a solid medium to high on the booty scale. I'm not getting squished down. I find these very flattering. I wore these to my solid core class this morning and loved them. I actually feel like the shorts come up just a little bit higher than the leggings. That's something that often happens with shorts just because you don't have as much like weighing them down. They can kind of come up a little bit. But yeah, I am a big fan of these, and now I'm wishing I also got the bright green color. That Aurora color is so pretty, but you know I had to get the yellow. So only time will tell with the squat test. So let's do a double squat test. Last note on the shorts, in the camel toe situation, I feel a teeny bit of tension as I normally do with something that has a hidden scrunch, but it's pretty minimal and I don't get any actual like visible camel, especially in the medium, so I wouldn't worry too much about it. They do stay put pretty well, but because they are a 5-inch short, I can get like a little riding up rolling, so that really all depends on your height, your thighs, your anatomy and everything. And then lastly, I'm not getting squished in the thighs, so I would say that these are thick thigh friendly. They are not squeezing me. Next we have the Tenacity wrap leggings. So same as the shorts, we have that wrapped waistband. We have that slight dip down in the front there, no front seam, in an extended gusset that goes about to like the lower thigh. We have that flattering curved seam detail on the side, and then this is the Tenacity fabric, so it's got some thickness and compression to it. Again, not really wearing these as much as it comes to summer. In the back, we have that tonal silicone A logo, V-seams that contour the glutes a little bit, hidden scrunch. These are a 27.25 inch inseam, so a little longer than some brands, but it is a full length on me. Again, about a mid to high rise, and these do have a little top band. Kind of starts at the 3/4 mark on your hips, and then we do have that band that goes all the way around the back. I prefer not having a top band. I almost always prefer not having one. This one doesn't bother me too much, and I still do actually really love these leggings. But if you can't do top band, be aware that these have them. And then we'll do a quick side by side of the same leggings in a size small. This is from the last launch. I got a medium and I was like, maybe I have like a little bit of extra space. They're not super compressive, so I decided to try small as well. And these, they fit, but they're just really snug. So you kind of see they squeeze me a little bit, especially because they do have that top band. I think almost everyone prefers to size up in these Tenacity wrap leggings, really all the Tenacity bottoms. So I would recommend sizing up a full size. Let's try them on. All right, here we have our Tenacity wrap leggings, size medium. I will have just compared the size small. Those are just a little bit more compressive, and I just prefer how these mediums fit. They really don't feel like a medium at all. I don't have any extra room anywhere, so they just fit a little more comfortably. We got that mid to high rise wrap waist, no front seam, minimal crotch tension on these. Overall, light to medium compression, maybe more medium compression in this size medium. If you're gonna wear your normal size, you're gonna get more of a medium high compression. We do get that top band starting kind of around here, so keep that in mind. That can cut in a little bit more on the size down. That curved seam along the side, and then we do have that hidden scrunch in the back. The seams go right above the glutes. These are definitely more of a short to medium glute friendly legging. These are overall just not super high rise, not super tall anywhere, but I still find them very flattering on me as someone who does have a long torso, just kind of, you know, a little bit more torso than I'm used to showing, but I'm getting used to it, and I've really been liking these. This material is very warm, so it's really difficult for me to wear this at the gym at this point. And the material also does collect pet fur and lint, so just be aware of that. And full length view, these do go basically full length on me because they are a little bit longer of legging, at 27.25 inch inseam. But yeah, these are my favorite of the Tenacity leggings. I'm excited to see them back so soon. My only thing I will say though is because on me, they are a little bit lower rise. Like I was a little bit bloated at the gym the other day. It was the day after my birthday. I had a lot of birthday cake and a big dinner. So it was just not the best day for me to wear these. For those kind of days, I prefer an Amplify because you just get like a little bit more like waistband compression, snatching. These you don't get as much. Next, we have a couple tops, including some different lengths, which is exciting. So first we have the Flex Tank Long. I'm getting the Flex Tank cropped one, but I accidentally ordered 2 of the long tanks. So we'll be getting that one, but it is very similar. So this one's made of a 75% polyamide, 25% spandex. Basically, it's kind of more of a lightweight version of the Tenacity, so it goes really well with the Tenacity pieces. It's not a seamless tank or anything. It does have that kind of brushed feel, but it's a little bit more lightweight. Here's a close-up of that fabric. You can see it just has a little bit of that soft brushed feel to it, but overall a lot more lightweight than the leggings. We have a scooped neckline, a classic kind of tapered racer back here, and then we have some flattering seams that go down the front of the top. This is going to be the longer version of the top, so more of a full length, kind of hip length. Another feature of this top, they did do 2 layers of the fabric in this little front panel here, and then on the sides and the back, it's just 1 single layer of the fabric. So if you get a lighter color, it won't be sheer in the front. It'll give you a little bit of extra support. They say that like as if, you know, you wouldn't wear a bra under this, but there's no built-in bra or anything with this. It's truly just a layering tank. Side note though, we've had these layering tanks in almost like every collection, and I just really appreciate that because not everyone wants to wear just a sports bra. This top will definitely go better with the Lina bra or the seamless bra that we'll talk about, but the interval bra with the high neck is not going to pair really well with this one. So let's try this on. All right, here we have the long flex tank. I'm wearing the Lina bra underneath, just so you can see. We have that scooped neckline, and you're not seeing any of that Lina bra underneath there. Racer tank straps, and you can see the front panel here is double thickness, and then the rest is just a single layer of fabric. So you do get a little bit more opacity in the front area here. You can see a little bit of that yellow through, but overall I would say this white is actually a pretty opaque white. So overall fit, it is quite snug along the bust area for me, especially with the sports bra underneath. So I would say snug up here, but it does loosen up for me around the waist and hem area. So if you really want this to be kind of snatching tight throughout, I would size down, but just know it'll be a little bit snug on the top. The fabric does have stretch, but it'll be compressive. The length overall, I would actually say is a mid hip. It's going a little bit past the top of my hip bone, which actually is a really nice length. It just gives the look of a total full length without being like awkwardly long and like super over the hips. I think the length is really nice, especially on a tall girlies. I am here for the resurgence of full length tops. This is what we always wanted. So side panel, a little bit more sheer, and then we do have the racer back. You are gonna see some of these straps underneath there, but I think that actually looks kind of cute underneath. It doesn't look like my regular flex tank, the cropped version, is going to come in time, but I would have to assume that that one is more of a waist length option. So for me, it would be a little bit cropped, probably more of a meet and greet option for most people. So I'm going to try on the other color I have with the interval bra underneath, just to show you what that looks like. Lastly, I do just get a little bit of lipping out of the seam right at the top there. I just wanted to point that one out. All right, then we can see the two top. You know what? It's giving Mean Girls in a way, you know, with the cutouts. Obviously it's different, but yeah, just wanted to show you that I would recommend wearing either like the Everyday Core Tenacity bra underneath or the Lina bra, just so it hides a little bit better underneath the tank. Next up, we just have the Flex Tank. Again, I will be getting this one for the try on, but very similar features, same fabric, same neckline, same racer back, and same seam detail with the double thickness fabric in the front as the Flex Tank long. It's just a cropped version. Next, we have the Basics Cami Tank. I got this in the beautiful blue bonnet color. I'm just so obsessed with this color. So we saw some Basics pieces in the birthday sale, and basically they're all made of this very lightweight, kind of sleeker performance type material, but very thin and breathable. I did get this in a size small, but I have an extra small coming as well because I do feel like you can size down in all of the Basics pieces, and I honestly kind of prefer the size down, so I don't know why I got the small. Basically, we have these reinforced elastic little spaghetti strap, classic cami neckline. The front is 2 layers of the fabric and the back is 1 single layer. And this one has kind of a high hip fit, so still get some good coverage, but it's not gonna be an over the hip, super long top. So let's try this on. All right, here's the Basics top. I really love this material, just so sleek, lightweight. Again, the front, 2 thickness, and then here it turns into 1 thickness across the back. We actually have a good amount of coverage across the top. I'd say maybe medium to full coverage. I'm wearing the old Amplify crossback bra, which is the same coverage as the Amplify open back bra, I think it's called now. Because of that lowered kind of bandeau neckline, I think that's a good sports bra to pair underneath this one to show it minimally. They say you can wear this one without a bra. I don't dare do that because it doesn't have a built-in bra, and 2 thicknesses of fabric just isn't really like enough support for me. So that's the bra I'd recommend wearing underneath it. The Everyday Core bra would probably go well underneath this too, and I love that bra. So anyways, we have the elasticated spaghetti straps. They are not adjustable. The length on this one is a hip length. So my waist is about here, and the top of my hip bone is about here. It basically just reaches the top of my hip bone. With the ultra high rise Amplify contour leggings, I'm not showing any skin, so it's a really nice kind of meet and greet length for me. In terms of the fit, true to size, snug across the bust, again a little bit loose along the bottom for me, so if you really want to be like ultra snatched, you can size down. Like I was saying before, I did size down in a lot of the Basics top 4, and they're so stretchy that honestly I do recommend sizing down. Then here's the back. You just have that single thickness of fabric, so if you're not wearing a bra under it, it's going to be very seamless in the back. And just those straight up and down straps, the straps, even though they're not adjustable, they do feel like a pretty good length, and they feel like they're not going to fall down. So a nice basic option. Alphalete baby tees are back, and I just could not resist this cute canary yellow. So their baby tees are a 94% cotton, 6% spandex. They have almost like more of an athletic cotton feel, and they do have some stretch to them. Classic crew neckline with short sleeves. And this is kind of a just above hip length. I love the Alphalete baby tees. Honestly, they're one of my favorites. The one thing I would change is maybe moving the branding to like the bottom, just so it's not like front and center in the chest, but they do have that tonal silicone branding right in the middle of the chest there. It is tonal, so you don't necessarily see it super well from far away, but I prefer if it was a little bit more subtle. The back is totally plain. Let's try it on. All right, here is the baby tee. I can't get enough of the yellow. So we got a nice waist length, hits right at the small of my waist, right to the belly button. If you're wearing a high-rise legging, it should completely cover the torso area, but because I'm wearing more of a mid to high-rise, with that little dip down in the front, you are seeing some torso there. That nice stretch cotton material. We see that little silicone branding across the chest here, and kind of a body skimming to very slightly relaxed fit. So I do have a little bit of room right at the bottom there. If you want it ultimately like really skin tight, I would recommend sizing down. It does have the stretch to be able to accommodate that. This one does show a little bit of sweat, but not as much as something like a Buff Bunny Halo tee. I do see a little bit of that yellow sports bra underneath this one, so the yellow is not completely opaque. It will be okay with a nude bra. And then here's the back, just classic Alphalete baby tee. Second to last section, we have seamless. So starting out with a semi-new bra, but kind of not really new. We have the Amplify open back bra. This is definitely more of a smaller bust friendly of the seamless bras. Personally, I prefer the Amplify contour bra. That one's like my favorite. It's so flattering, but still friendly for the large busts. This one's definitely more for the small cup size girlies, just doesn't have a ton of coverage. So we have this kind of rounded neckline, spaghetti straps. This one has a white vinyl Alphalete logo front and center. Another reason why this bra isn't my favorite. I prefer a little bit more subtle branding. We do have removable cups in here, and then we have a ribbed elastic along the bottom for some nice support there. And then we get to the back, we have adjustable straps, and then just like a little cutout in the back. This bra is basically the Amplify crossback bra reborn. So we have same coverage and everything, same situation going on in the front, same adjustable straps in the back. The bra used to have this little crisscross detail in the back, but I guess people were just cutting that off. So they decided to just make it without that. I was never cutting that off, but I also was never really wearing this bra very much because I fall out of it a good amount. So I never got it, but we'll do a quick side by side of these two, but let's try it on. All right, here is the sports bra. It's just a bummer to me that it does feel like we only got 3 sports bras in the launch, and one of them definitely large bust friendly. One of them, the Lina bra, a little bit borderline. This one I would say definitely not. I have worn this one to the gym before, and if I do any leaning over, I just don't really feel very comfortable in this one. So this one is not a large bust friendly bra. With that little ribbed area along the bottom there, and in the pink, that little contour area is a little bit more prominent than I've seen in the other color. The other color meaning my old one. We do have Alphalete right across the front. Again, I prefer the more subtle branding rather than like big word mark, but you can't really see it super clearly on the light pink. The coverage is low to medium. It's not the worst, but I do have a little bit of spillage and just overall not a ton of coverage. So it's for my girls who are looking for that like itty bitty coverage moment. We do have adjustable straps, and now it is just open in the back. I actually like the open back a little bit better, honestly. So I'm glad that they decided to do that. And of course I love adjustable straps, and support is very low. Cute bra. Will I attempt to wear this to the gym? Yes, it's not like so bad I can't wear it out of the house, but I will definitely be uncomfortable in it, and I prefer the contour bra. Sorry, lastly for sizing, true to size, if you're in between, I think I would size down. I could have a little bit more compression, it's just I wouldn't want the coverage to go down. So if you're a smaller bust, you can probably size down if in between. Amplify contour leggings are back. These will always be a favorite of mine. We'll chat about these quickly, but these have a 3-tiered compressive waistband, classic, soft, stretchy, Alphalete seamless. We do have a very slight marl to the fabrics in this collection. It's subtle, but it's not totally solid. We have that waffle detail down the side. In the back, you have the classic Alphalete scrunch with Alphalete embroidered into the back waistband. These are a high, ultra high rise, super flattering on the glutes. Let's just quickly try these on, see if there are any color differences. All right, here we are, Amplify contour leggings. You've seen these a million times. A high to ultra high rise, high compression waistband. True to size, if you're in between, size up, just because the waistband can be compressive. Overall compression is about a medium compression. Very lightweight, soft, stretchy, seamless. We have that little panel detailing along the side here. And then in the back, we have high on the booty scale, scrunch that goes up the back, and a little under glute contour detail that's very subtle, just a little bit of ribbing, almost not even noticeable, just adds a little bit extra. Down the side of the leg, we have some more ribbed detail as well, and a little waffle detail down the back of the thigh. And then because these have so much vertical stretch, we have basically a nice full length. And I did get this and the pink color. They both feel pretty similar. I'm not noticing a ton of color differences. Again, I wasn't able to get every single color because there were a lot of other things launching. But so far these fit exactly like Amplify Contour always has in the past. And these are one of my top recommendations. As always, I love the Amplify Contour, especially this color. This is my favorite. I feel like it's so flattering on so many skin tones. Not too dark, not too light of a blue, just a really nice color. Huge update I forgot to mention was they used to do the sewn on like tearaway tags right at the waistband so that you could see this stitch right underneath the logo, right where the scrunch was. They now have done a printed on logo branding with the fabric composition, wash instructions, all of that now on the inside of the waistband, so you don't have that tag that creates that extra stitch in the middle of the scrunch. So love that update. That was something I had complained about last time and they fixed it, so yay. Amplify Contour shorts are back. These are not my favorite shorts that Alphalete does, but a lot of people love them. So similar rise, fabric, and everything to the Amplify Contour leggings. We have the 3-tiered waistband, but these do not have that waffle knit detail. They have a slightly different kind of embossed detail down the side. Here's an up close of that. Similar scrunch. There's also that little ribbed area that kind of goes under the glute, contours a little bit, gives you a little lift. These are very flattering on the glutes. They do sometimes feel a little bit tight in the thigh area. These are a 5-inch inseam. For me, for seamless shorts, I like more of a 6-inch inseam because some of the fabric is taken up when you pull it up your glutes and everything. But let's try these on. Okay guys, Amplify Contour shorts. I just love how an Amplify compresses the waist. Just makes me feel so confident. I haven't been having the best body image the past couple weeks and nothing fixes that like a pair of Amplifies. So anyways, they list these as an ultra high rise. For me, they're like bordering between high and ultra high. So definitely on the higher side compared to Tenacity. We have a high compression 3-tiered waistband. The rest of the legging is about more of a medium compression. Tons of stretch on these. We have no front seam. And then we do have a 5-inch inseam. They are a little bit short for me. I prefer a 6 to 7-inch inseam for my seamless bottoms, but I know a lot of people love these shorts. I recently finally convinced my friend to try Alphalete and she's now obsessed with these shorts. She is shorter than me though, so keep that in mind. Anyways, true to size, but if you're in between, definitely size up. With a little snug in the waist and a little snug on the thighs as well. But I recently keep seeing people, they like to wear these shorts so that they like sit in the crease and kind of like lift your glute up like that. So let me know, do you like to wear shorts where the inseam is actually like down your leg? Like this is how I wear it, but a lot of people wear it like this. Which way do you wear your shorts? Because if you like a really short short, this actually does provide like a little extra lift because that compression just goes right there, but that's not really how I like to wear my shorts. So these definitely roll up on me at the gym. We have that little side panel here, and then that little subtle glute contour, scrunch in the back, and this pink is definitely going to be sheer. I can't see my nude underwear. You can see a little bit of the nude underwear. So definitely wear this light pink with caution. But yeah, we've reviewed these a bunch of times, so always a classic. In the last category, we just have 2 little miscellaneous shorts. These are the sprint shorts. I've never been a huge fan of Alphalete running shorts. They just don't really work for me. Like the styles that they've done, I just haven't loved them, and I don't really love these either. So I got a size small. Love the color of these. The outside is a soft shell polyester elastane, so it does have a little bit of stretch to it, but more just like a little bit of give. It's not super stretchy. These are a high rise with a soft elastic waistband, but there's no adjustability to this waistband, so there's no drawstring, no loop cord. You have that same kind of side leg contour detail that we get in the Tenacity leggings, except it's on the shorts. So they're calling this like glute enhancing. I don't really think it does much enhancing, but I think it's a nice little detail that it adds to the side. It is completely closed on the sides, so there's no like split dolphin hem or anything for more movement, which is something I tend to prefer because these were definitely a little bit tight on the glutes, so not the most curvy friendly. The outer inseam is about 2 inches, and then we also have inner shorts on the inside that are made of this tan color. And the inner shorts also have a raw cut hem. This is where the shorts kind of get me. First of all, the inner shorts, 2.5-inch inseam. I think that's pretty good, but I don't anticipate that these would actually keep my glutes covered very well. So we do have pockets on these inner shorts, but they are pretty short pockets. Like I would have liked them to go up a little bit more. I just don't know how this little like 3 inches of pocket is going to contain my phone. No front seam or back rise seam on these inner shorts. Guess it doesn't really matter to have a back rise seam because you don't see them anyway. And then with this little raw cut hem, mine is just kind of messily cut and just like isn't really matching the quality standards of all of the other pieces. So you can just kind of see there's just kind of this like unevenness there, especially when you get to the little seam areas where the pockets are. It just kind of all looks a little bit messy, and I'm yet to be won over by an Alphalete running short. So let's try these on. All right, you guys, we have the sprint shorts. So these are hitting right at the small of my waist, so they are a high rise. Then we have kind of a little smocked waistband with an elastic on the inside, but the elastic is nice and soft. The elastic is fitting me well. I don't have any squeezing or any gaping with it, so I would say true to size in terms of the waist. The outer material is a soft shell with a little bit of stretch to it, not a ton of stretch. And then again, I measured a 2-inch inseam on the outer shorts. The preview website says 3.5-inch inseam. I do not know where they got that, so I feel like that was a mistake. We have those little glute contouring side seams here, kind of a little double seam. They do get a little wrinkled, a little ruffly with this material. Doesn't necessarily bother me, but I would like to point it out. And then the fit, so I always like to rate my running style shorts on if they're like curvy friendly, aka like small waist, large hip discrepancy friendly. Think curvy style jeans. And I would say that these really are not, because they're fitting in the waist, but they're kind of skimming my glutes here. And if you are really curvy and you have a really large hip or glute measurement for your size, these are going to be very tight and give you a little bit of diaper butt action back there. For that reason, I do prefer shorts with a little open side slit that these don't have. So you do get a little bit more coverage because of that, but you don't get the freedom of, you know, having more movement in the back area. So I will still say true to size, but just keep in mind if you do have kind of a larger hip or glute measurement, you may struggle here. The thigh area is fine though. I do have extra room in the thighs, so thick thigh friendly. These will ride up when you run because, say it with me, all loose shorts ride up when you run if your thighs touch. So there is no exception to that. And then we have those inner shorts. They are quite short on the inside. They're 2.5-inch inseam, and we can see they're not even covering my cheek back there, especially because they are a raw cut hem. There's nothing really to keep them down, so they just kind of ride up. So honestly, I would prefer a brief liner. And then we have those itty bitty tiny pockets. I mean, what is supposed to fit in here? If you try to fit a phone in here, like, are you actually serious? I feel like I just feel like these shorts just have a lot of problems and not a lot of thought was put into them, because like, what are we supposed to put in here? I know you can put things other than a phone in a pocket like this, but there's just like so much extra space where you could have put the pocket, and for it to be like that, I don't know. In the inner shorts, they're almost kind of like baggy. I really am not liking the material of these inner shorts. So I'm very picky about my loose style shorts for running. I wouldn't really run in these. I think I could run in them, but honestly, I think there are a lot of better running style shorts out there, and I'm really not a fan of these. I think they just have a lot of things that could be improved on. So these are a skip for me. One last view of the back area here. I'm not getting too much diaper, but it's just not the most flattering. All right, you guys can't see, but we have a special guest. Just say hi. We have a pinto. And this is his preferred way to be. Stretched out like a little hot dog. Aren't you the cutest little boy? Aren't you the cutest? Buddy, it's your lunchtime. It's your lunchtime. There's actually 2 pieces left, but I did not get the velour zip hoodie. I tried it in the birthday sale, and I have that review in the birthday sale video, so I'll link that down below, but just wasn't a huge fan of the velour zip hoodie. I wanted to love it because I actually love the idea of bringing the velour sets back, but it just like wasn't really quite hitting the mark, especially because of the bottoms. And instead of having the velour pants, we now have velour shorts. So these are new and I am getting them. They're just a little bit delayed. They have a 2-inch inseam, so they're pretty short, but they also are a lounge short, so they should hit a little bit longer. Polyester spandex with an elastic elastic in the waist. I just really was not a huge fan of the velour pants, so I don't really think I'm gonna love these either, but we'll give them a try. Okay guys, that is everything launching in this collection. Again, this is launching on Saturday, May 17th, and you can use my code Kathryn for 10% off. It's just hitting me that we have not had an Alphalete launch since February, and that's crazy. We went March, April, and I guess it's May. We went I guess that's not as long as I expected. It was kind of nice, to be honest, but I was definitely craving some Alphalete, so I'm glad that they're back and better than ever with those new changes. So I really hope that there is a good difference in their customer service and all of these little changes they're mentioning. I will say, from my perspective, working with the team these past couple months has been so much better than it ever has for Alphalete, so I really do think that they're taking things seriously, and I need more brands to be doing this because some brands are kind of falling off lately. Anyways, if we had to do top picks, I love Amplify contour leggings as always, Tenacity wrap waist leggings, and the shorts. And then the bras kind of depend. If you're a smaller bust, I'd probably go for the Lina bra. Larger bust, the interval bra. Even small busts can wear the interval bra, but just if you're a larger bust, you'll fit better in that one. And then maybe a top to pair it with. I really think all the tops did pretty well, but kind of always be partial to a baby tee. As always, leave your comments down below. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.